Alright, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to another video here on the channel, and today we're going to be talking about a poll that has come out that has actually been released just on Friday by Emerson College that shows former President Donald Trump narrowly beating Joe Biden in a hypothetical matchup for the 2024 presidential election. Now, there's a lot of belief on both sides that these two are going to be basically running in another election against one another. As of right now, Trump has not announced any formal plans or anything to run for re-election, but it is pretty much likely at this point that he is going to run again. He's been kind of subtly hinting toward it in the way that he's talked. He hasn't just outright said anything, but I feel like if he was really not going to run again, he would have already just straight up said he's not going to. But I think more than anything, this kind of shows where, I guess, the mindset of America as a country kind of is right now, because obviously when Trump was president, the majority of the country complained about everything that he was doing, and they wanted Joe Biden to be the president. And then now, we do have Biden as president, and all of a sudden his ratings are plummeting as well, and people are talking about they may be voting for Trump if he runs again in 2024. Although former President Donald Trump has not formally announced plans to run for re-election in 2024, new polling suggests that he's well positioned for a rematch against President Joe Biden and could even come out as the winner. The poll released Friday by Emerson College shows Trump narrowly beating Biden in a hypothetical matchup. While neither Trump nor Biden is backed by the majority of voters, the former president is currently 2 points ahead of the current president. Trump is supported by 45% of registered voters, while Biden is backed by just 43%, the latest Emerson study data shows. Meanwhile, 11% of registered voters said that they want to vote for, quote, someone else, and just 1% say that they remain, quote, undecided. Emerson's new poll was conducted from November 3rd to the 4th with a margin of error plus or minus 3 percentage points. Notably, the gap between Trump and Biden has widened a bit since Emerson carried out a similar poll in early September. That previous survey showed Trump leading Biden by just 1 percentage point. However, both the Republican and Democrat were supported by a larger number of registered voters at the time. So, what this part in particular is kind of indicating is that among registered voters who actually probably are likely to vote in the next election, that gap that was in between the two presidential candidates has widened. AKA, more people who are registered voters are starting to kind of fall out with both of the options, and while Trump is kind of declining as well in terms of how many people are supporting a re-election campaign for him, Biden is actually falling at a faster rate, meaning the country is becoming more fed up with him faster than they are with Donald Trump, and meaning that more people who are registered voters are also kind of falling into that category, saying they're kind of just tired of both candidates. And there's a lot of things that have been kind of going on in the last few months that are really helping Biden kind of tank faster. First off, obviously the Afghanistan withdrawal. I mean, people really kind of squarely put the blame on Biden for that, because it was his administration in which this kind of fell under. Obviously, if this same exact event happened under Trump, I feel like that there would have been, obviously a lot of people who did not support it, because honestly, it was shitty. I think most of us agree. On top of that, the amount of people becoming vaccinated has kind of slowed at the last few months, so people are kind of seeing this comeback, I guess, quote-unquote, of COVID, and obviously Biden has seen the brunt of that. And people are just starting to broadly not support some of his policies. I mean, they barely got the infrastructure bill to go through, and it turns out that a lot of people actually don't like this whole Build Back Better plan that they're now trying to kind of push with the new Green Deal. So there's a lot of stuff going on that's kind of turning people off of Biden again, and if Donald Trump does decide to run again, at this point in the election, he is favored to win it, according to this poll at least. Now, obviously that is not the answer that some people want to hear, but it's just that's the fact of the matter. This is where the country is right now, okay? The Democrats, they've gotten the control that they want, right? They got the presidency, they've been able to get some of their legislation through now, but they're not doing things enough that are actually pleasing the voters, and in fact, a lot of the things that they're trying to do are actually very controversial, and it's providing a really big problem, I would say, for the Democrats. Because if you don't know, 2022, there's going to be a lot of midterm elections that decide some of the seats in the House of Representatives and also in the Senate, so if the Democrats keep tanking their favorability with the country like they're doing with Biden, it's going to turn out to be probably a pretty good midterm for the Republicans, and if they take back control of the legislative branch of the country, it's going to get a whole hell of a lot worse for Biden because the Democrats are already struggling to get through these proposals that they've been pushing for years. You know, this whole new Green Deal and everything that they're struggling with now? These are concepts that we've been hearing about for like a decade, if not longer, for a lot of Democrats, for a lot of their candidates, okay? So the problem with them kind of tanking their favorability is now they're providing a perfect opportunity for Trump to just simply walk back in, announce a presidential run, and they're gonna see a pretty tight contest. You know what I'm saying? It was already pretty close this year in terms of how a lot of people were voting. It was definitely a very divided election, I feel like. And now we're seeing these polls that are showing that if the election took place even just barely really going on a year into Biden's presidency, people would have already switched their opinions like this. It's incredible to me that, like, Democrats, it seems like they get a lot of the popular support, right? Because obviously they win a lot of the major metropolitan areas and stuff in the country, and, you know, they propose a lot of ideas that really are supported by the majority of voting Americans. But somehow they fuck up every single opportunity that they get. Like, if you think about it, the Democrats have been acting as if they've had the last couple of elections just, you know, handed to them, right? They treated the whole Trump versus Hillary Clinton election as if it was just going to be a landslide, right? Like, Hillary was the obvious choice. And I think a lot of the country, including myself, was fucking stunned when Donald Trump won that election. And then in all reality, Biden, I don't think was actually the popular option for the presidency. I think he was just simply who the Democrats propped, and so people supported him because he wasn't Trump. Now, I'm gonna say this might just be controversial or whatever, but I didn't vote for either of these candidates in the 2020 election. That was my first election in which I could vote, and I actually voted third party this year, because I feel like I'm probably part of that 11% of registered voters that say they want to vote for someone else. I actually don't view favorably among either of these candidates. I don't think that Trump was the greatest president we've ever had, and I also am pretty unfavorable towards Biden so far, so I feel like these are just two options that we've both seen, at least in terms of when the 2024 election comes along, and I don't think any of the country really views them favorably enough to consider them worthy of a second term. I feel like it's just the option that people have between, like, the Republicans and the Democrats. Let's be real. You know, most Democrats, if Joe Biden wasn't the option, they still would have voted Democrat. Most Republicans, if Trump wasn't the option, they would have voted Republican. But I think that that's actually one of the large problems that we have with the voting system here in the country. People realistically only vote among party lines a lot of the time, and I think that that really kind of strips the country of the true leadership that it actually needs. Yes, we are living through pretty crazy times right now. You know, we just did deal with a global pandemic. We are dealing with a lot of crazy situations in our society here in America alone. And I feel like we need genuine leadership, and we don't need people voting just for whoever's more popular, or, you know, whoever is on this side of the team and whoever's on the other side of the team is just the bad guy, right? I would like to see some fresh faces. I would like to see some younger faces running for president too. I don't get why here in America we just only elect people who are like fucking 67 years old to make the decisions and represent the country, when the majority of people oftentimes don't even agree with these people. I mean, you see it right here in this poll. Neither of these candidates are viewed upon favorably by the majority of the country. It isn't like America is Trump's country or America is Biden's country. There is a lot of contest here, you know what I'm saying? There is breathing room for both of these candidates to really kind of, you know, take the rest of this forward and go into the 2024 election confident. If the Democrats keep control of the government in 2022 and they're actually able to, I guess, pull something together and start providing legislation that gets their viewpoints viewed upon more favorably, then yeah, I can see Biden becoming reelected. But if they continue to kind of run their reputation into the ground further and just take that lead that they've had and keep choking it, yeah, I can honestly see the country voting Trump back in. Like I said, I would love to see some different faces. I want to see some people who are actually more representative of the population, you know, of the taxpayers, of the voters, of the people of this country, right? I feel like people who are 70 really just aren't the option. You know what I mean? That's not really, I think, the person that I guess relates to me when it comes to a lot of issues in society. All right, sorry guys, believe it or not, my mic literally just stopped working in the middle of recording this video, and so I had to go back to my old mic. I had to just hook all that up, so I'm sorry about that. It completely probably sounds different, but it is a different mic now, so Trump was backed by 47% compared to 46% who supported Biden. As of this month, Trump's support has declined by 2 points, while Biden's has dropped by 3 points. Emerson's polling also shows that Biden's approval rating continues to dip while his disapproval rating surges upward. In September, 46% of registered voters approved of Biden while 47% disapproved. Now at the outset of November, just 41% said that they approve of the president, while half, 50%, chimed in their disapproval. So, once again, this isn't anything guaranteed. It is very early in the next cycle for presidential elections and everything, but I do think that this is definitely a sobering reminder, I should say, for Democrats who think that, you know, the next 4 years is going to be guaranteed easy. There's still a lot of work for both sides to do, and for both of these candidates to actually gain that approval / that voter recognition that they actually need to win, they're both going to have to really kind of not only have the other one fail, but they're going to have to succeed. If the Democrats are gonna, you know, get behind Biden and actually push for a 2024 re-election, they've got to first off hold off the 2022 midterm elections. They've got to actually hold the seats that they need to keep majority. But they're also gonna have to kind of stave off some of this, I would say, transitional mindset that a lot of people are having about President Biden now. People, you know, when he first was in office, they kind of supported him, the majority did at least. And it's just been downhill from there. I mean, there's not a lot of good looks left, and it's going to take a lot of work to kind of rebuild that trust with the entire country. But at this point, man, it could really be anyone's election. I don't think either side should be too confident. With that being said, though, thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're brand new around here on the channel, follow me over on Twitter and Twitch at @subtooptimus. Make sure to check out Shop Opti down below. And until my next video, guys, this is Optimus, not voting for either, and signing out.